Sports, Where Men Are Men and Women Are Trespassers by Pat Griffin, presented by Samantha McNamara. As I looked into the matter, I noticed a kaleidoscope of problems, the crux of which was rooted in fear. Fear of rejection or lack of acceptance, fear of change, fear of being alone. The challenge and threat to established identity. Two potent implications came to mind, and I realized it's not just about the oppression and discrimination against women. It's about males too, and the gender expectations they're confronted with day by day, easily overlooked by others who view them only through the lens of their privileged agent status as males. There is gender oppression in sports. Tremendous male hegemony still persists. If a woman succeeds in the sports realm, she is ogled and lauded as something extraordinary. No one expects that of her. Her success is remarkable in that she seemingly triumphed against the odds of being born a woman. Let me take a poll. How many of you think there are more males in the world? How many of you think there are more females in the world? Demographers have shown that there are anywhere between 60 million and 100 million missing females in the current population. In the last half-century, more girls were discriminated to death than all the people killed in all the battlefields in the 20th century combined. To be female is to not be taken seriously, to be sexualized. Example:
The female body. Amazing in its own way. Not as strong or as fast as the male body, but it still works for cooking, cleaning, and collecting firewood. The female's brain is about the same size as the male brain, but it is not equipped with the math skills needed to beat world records or keep score, which is why women use calculators. From a psychological view, the female mind is conditioned from an early age to know her place. A lack of female athletes and coaches helps reinforce this conditioning. Their weak minds match their weak bodies, so more sports scholarships are given to boys. Women are ruled by hormones, which is why they sometimes gather and try to play games. And although they have the same sweat glands as their male counterparts, their glands should never actually produce sweat. The female body is built to have babies, lots and lots of babies. So every month, girls experience their menstrual cycle. At this time, they must be kept inside, lest they attract bears. Giving girls their own playing fields is potentially deadly and should be avoided. Even riding a bike might cause feminine damage. For her own protection, she should walk, but never alone or at night. So as you can see, the female body is most efficient at rest. Any rigorous physical activity might cause breakage, internal bleeding, or long bouts of crying, which is why women should never play sports. That's biology, folks. There's nothing we can do about it.
Females cannot escape the scrutiny placed upon their bodies and are still expected to maintain beauty ideals. From birth, if you think about it, we're literally wrapped up in somebody else's idea of masculinity or femininity and sent on our way. Pink blankets versus blue blankets. Perception becomes reality. Grown men live in pain as a definer of what it means to be a man, simply to find some form of approval or connection to a group. Masculinity doesn't come naturally, it must be taught. Men die younger, possibly due to a lack of self-care or because the rites of masculinity encourage men to engage in more dangerous and reckless behavior than women. Boys showing an interest in girl activities, such as dolls or cooking, are teased by their peers. Participation in athletics is a near required part of developing a masculine identity and gaining acceptance. The importance of sport in socializing men into traditional masculine gender roles also defines the sport experience for women. Sport is identified with men and masculinity, and so women in sport become trespassers on male territory. A particular point of interest brought up by Griffin was the absurd lengths resorted to by men to ensure women knew they were encroaching on male turf, one of which was the forcing of women to wear protective cups in baseball. Further, women's sport performance is trivialized and marginalized as an inferior version of the real thing. Why? Why are women's sports so problematic? Is it a threat to the acceptance of the traditional gender order in which men are privileged and women are subordinate? Yes, I believe that is a part of it. An effective means of controlling women in sport is challenging their femininity and heterosexuality. When a woman is called masculine or dyke, she knows she's crossed a gender boundary. Homophobia, too, serves as a glue that holds traditional gender role expectations in place. Think about it. The purpose of calling a woman a lesbian is to limit her sport experience and make her feel defensive about her athleticism. We must not forget that from another angle, sport for men serves 5 social functions, as denoted by Griffin in the text. Number 1, defining and reinforcing traditional conceptions of masculinity. Number 2, providing an acceptable and safe context for male bonding and intimacy. Number 3, reinforcing male privilege and female subordination. Number 4, establishing status among other males. And 5, reinforcing heterosexuality. Males learn to deny feelings of compassion or other feelings coaches teach them to associate with weakness. Boys learn to value physical strength and size, aggressiveness, and a will to dominate. It is an insult for a man to be called a woman, and he is shamed if he is beaten by a woman in any sport. There is also a higher incidence of violence against women by male athletes. Such oppression, such discrimination, on both sides. Men are repressed, and women are denied. And a transgendered demographic is scarcely even acknowledged. But why end on such a dismal note? What's to be done? If we look at a computer, and I'm not saying humans are as simple as computers have code, and that code is running behind the system, behind the screen. You don't see the code, but you do see the results of the code, the ones and the zeros that comprise what we see on the screen. We need to change the source, the why of what we do. Until we change those ones and zeros, we can't reasonably expect a different result, because it's the same code running again and again and again. We need to change that source, change it, the why of what we do, question everything, starting with yourself, your motives and habits. We must be like the child who walks through the park, sees a flower, and marvels at its individuality, not like the adult who sees that same flower, identifies it as a magnolia or hibiscus, tulip, daisy, rose, and strolls on. Don't deny yourself the richness of experience by stereotyping, categorizing, or falling back on assumptions. Be like the curious and appreciative child who sees that same flower, inhales its sweet fragrance, examines how it fits together, the stamen, the pistil, the petals. Observe the soil surrounding it, the environment and climate which fostered its growth, the richness of its color, the delicacy of its texture, and how it sways in a breeze or responds to human touch. Thank you.